All right, today we're going to talk about how do you know that you can get your parent qualified for Medicaid. And I can tell you that it's not complicated. It's not simple, it's not easy, but it's at the same time, it's not rocket science. How's that? Medicaid looks at two primary criteria. Now, you have to be a citizen or a resident alien green card holder, for 5 years. There's some typical criteria that, make sense. But I'm talking about assets and income. Let's assume that your parent's a U.S. citizen or here legally, all those kinds of things. They're over age 65. They need long-term care of some type. So the basics are there, and you're just worried about, gee, I know mom and dad have a TD Ameritrade account. They've got a savings account. They got a checking account. They don't have a lot of money, but they worked hard for what they have. And listen, I am a believer. I don't care if it's $5,000 or $500,000. It's their money. They worked hard for it. They want to pass it along, and we should protect it as long as we can get them the care that they need, the same level of care they would get under private pay. But we can protect that money and get them that care. That's what they would want. And if they're able, that's what they'll tell you they want, right? So we should do that. Protecting assets is not difficult. Getting the income down if it's too high is not difficult. So let's talk about that. Now, I can't tell you the type of trust that is needed because in Florida, I am not an attorney. I can't tell you what type of trust protects it, but I can tell you there is a trust that if the income is over the amount that the state sets, this year it's $2,156, I believe, in 2020. If it goes over that, you have to artificially lower it. The way you artificially lower it is you have a competent attorney set up a specific type of trust, and you fund the excess money over what you're allowed into that trust every month. Then you pay it out to the nursing home or a few other places that are allowed depending on circumstances, and you're done with the income piece. That's easy enough. Assets, they look at three kinds. We cover this in another video in more detail than we do here. But assets, they look at countable, non-countable, and exempt assets. And basically countable and exempt for this conversation are the same. You have to structure them a little different so they're not collected from later on. But Medicaid doesn't calculate them when determining whether your parent is eligible for Medicaid. So the other thing we have to consider is countable assets. Now, countable assets are things like stocks, bonds, mutual funds, savings, checking, cash in the mattress, lots in Arizona, valuable collections, classic cars, all that kind of stuff. All we have to do is exchange those assets that count for something that doesn't count. Now, we can go out and do it with a third party, right? We can take cash and go buy a piece of rental property, which doesn't count. But real estate up for sale doesn't count either. So why not just buy somebody's real estate within the family? And you go, well, how does it not count? Well, if it's up for sale, it doesn't count. You go, wait a minute, I don't want to sell my property. Mom and dad buy my property and I got to sell it. No, they're going to buy a piece of your property. You're going to put the piece up for sale. This is one way of many, right? And then it doesn't count. And so when your parent passes away, their portion of the house passes right back to you. Everything's hunky-dory. Now, I'm not telling you should do this. There's tax implications, there's liability issues, there's all kinds of things that have to be considered, and you and an attorney are the only two people that can determine whether it fits you or not, whether you should do it or not. That is an attorney's decision. But what I am telling you is that if you decide with an attorney that it's what you should do, I can get it through the application system according to the rules, get your parent approved, get the $8,000 or $9,000 or $10,000 a month paid to the nursing home, or a contribution of $1,100 to $1,400 to assisted living, or up to 56 hours of home health care. So all I can tell you is there is no doubt in the state of Florida you can get your parent qualified for Medicaid if you have the right assistance. You are going to need a qualified attorney. We will get you to several that know exactly what they're doing, exactly how we operate. We'll get that application in, get it approved, get it done correctly the first time. If you'd like to talk to me, give me a ring. Happy to talk to you, talk about your situation, see if we can be of help. Thanks.